Prices on everything might be skyrocketing, but at least this is still one of the best bangs for your buck budget airplanes on the market. When it came out, I was super impressed with this plane. This is the Bigfoot, and I am still very impressed. It is a 5-channel airplane with flaps, and it has lights, so you kind of need a 6th channel to pull that off. There is a lot going on here on this airplane. Amazing spare part availability and support from an awesome mom and pop hobby shop here in the States, which that just doesn't happen anymore. I love being able to support these guys. Now, we're gonna fly this plane for you today on a 3S battery, and I think it's gonna blow your mind what this plane is capable of doing on a 3S battery. It is super fun, but also would make a nice trainer. So if you're looking for something to like transition up into intermediate mode, you can do it all on this airplane from start to finish. It's a blast to fly. Now, it's been a while since I've flown it, and it's been a long time since it's been on the channel, so I'm excited, and hopefully you guys are too. Remember, this plane and everything that we're using to get it in the air is linked in the description box below. It's still under $200, and if you use our link, you help support our channel and our family. Let's fly. Check out these control surfaces. There's a lot of movement. We've got flaps, look at the elevator, and then the rudder. There's just a lot of control surface authority on this airplane, which is why I like it. Let's take off. Now,
sorry, that was terrible falling.
Battery,
whoa,
I think is crazy, and it has been a while since I've flown this, but it's a ridiculously capable airplane. And nothing that I'm doing is like weird setups in the radio. I fly with 0 expo. I'm not flying on like different flight mode switches or anything. And this airplane has just a nice old dumb tactic receiver in here. I'm flying on a tactic radio. In other words, you could do fly sky, fry sky, FR sky, you know, Tyrannus, whatever thing you're flying on. There's no flight stabilization on board with this airplane. And yeah, it's flying this smooth and does really smooth rolls like that, and snaps really well. This is a very fun airplane to fly, and I'm kind of bummed that I haven't had it out sooner than this. It knife edges really well too. Right over the hay bale. Pretty cool, right?
Right.
I love this plane. I think it's called a hammerhead stall. Yeah. Basically, whatever kind of maneuver you want to do with this plane, it can handle it. You would think that it would need to fly 4S to be able to pull some of this stuff off, but flying a nice, cheap, old 3S 2200 milliamp battery, there's ample room in there for a bigger battery if you wanted to. But definitely keep it to 3S.
Look at that. Upside
I'm not
down.
sure how much I've flown this plane inverted, but my inverted confidence has gotten better. I don't know if the ability's gotten better, but the confidence is there at least. Let's see. Moments like these, I just wish I had a flight pattern, you know, like what should I do to impress everybody? I don't know.
Scrape the wing tip against the grass or something.
It's just a pretty plane, and it's fun to fly. This is one of those that I get out when I just want to truly enjoy something. I feel like, see, some of these planes that I fly, I feel like the roll rate is off on them when I get them, or something just, you know, is lacking. This is truly one of the best, like, complete feeling airplanes I've ever flown, and especially for not being, I didn't have to trim it much when I got it. It's under $200, it's right under $200. It's so popular that it remains, it's probably on pre-order status right now, which is basically back order status. So if you are interested in this, and you should be, and you don't own one, which I think like thousands of our viewers have this airplane, you kind of gotta just order it. And I think they actually have a shipment of these coming in really soon, in a couple weeks or so. So I just thought this would be a good chance to get it out and show everybody how much fun it is again. It's super fun to fly. I mean, super fun.
How low can you go there? That's something
Inverted?
fun you can do. Yeah.
Oh, Eddy, I like this airplane a lot. I don't want to go any lower than what I am. which is pretty low for me if you guys know how I fly inverted. Oh, man. Like if I'm not doing...
Well, that's pretty good. For you, that's pretty good right there. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I just don't want to crash it. All right. How's that? That good?
I feel like after the camera's off, you're going to be like, why did you ask me to do that?
No, it's fine. And then let's not forget we have flap flight too, so let's go for full flaps and just get a nice little flyby. Full flaps right now, I just don't want to wingtip stall, which this plane is really good about not stalling. As I say that, it's gonna stall, but full flaps, let's get a nice slow flyby just to show you guys what it can do, because it's a very good stall plane too. All right, there's 0 throttle. On asphalt, that's not bad. If I do say so myself. I like to drop this plane in kind of steep and then flare it for landings, because with flaps on, I don't have any elevator mixed into this and it doesn't climb like crazy. So I'll show you guys. That was me. So 0 flaps, and I'm gonna hit my flaps at about, well, there's 0 throttle, there's flaps on. That's your climb rate, which isn't too bad, considering I have no elevator mixed in with that. See, like you can fly this low and slow and pretty tight if you want to. You don't have to worry too much about stalling out because it has enough throttle punch to pull out of it. Pretty awesome airplane. Good flight time too on a 2200 milliamp. I mean, you can fly this easily for 12-15 minutes. But the way I'm flying it, you know, we'll probably get closer to like a 5 or 6 minute flight maybe. I don't know.
I think you're at 5 minutes now.
It's a really, really fun airplane. And yeah, you could install a Spectrum safe receiver if you wanted to get a little more beginner friendly if you felt better doing that. But honestly, this thing flies just perfectly. Perfect little airplane. I know you flew your Trojan yesterday, or a couple days ago on the channel. And that's a great airplane for having the bind and fly receiver already in it, because it's the same price as this. But this one you get the addition of the lights and flaps, and in my opinion it has better flight characteristics than the Trojan. The Trojan is a warbird for sure. This one just, man, it just flies so good. Easy to put together, and as I said, if you do ever crash it, the cool thing about this shop is it's a mom and pop shop, and if you need support, you are likely going to get the owner on the phone if you call them. Like, don't abuse that, because the guy's working hard. But how cool is that? I mean, wouldn't it be cool if we saw
You're at 6
more
minutes.
companies like that in our industry? They adopted this online shopping to support their store, but also to support families like ours. So we get the word out, hey, look at this airplane. If you didn't know about this airplane until you saw it on our channel, then you can do us a favor by clicking the link to buy it. We make a couple bucks, yes, but it also helps keep the American hobby shop going, right?
Are you just gonna push it till it's done?
I got at least another minute, I know I do.
You said 5 to 6 minutes a minute ago.
You know what I should have done? I should have put in my lipo alarm, but I'm just really comfortable with this airplane, so. This airplane needs to have some kind of awards. Let's go half flaps on this landing. And let's pull it in for landing.
What would you say, best value for the money? Like biggest plane for the money? Something like that.
A little fast. I want to get it landed a little closer. Yeah, for the size of airplane, under $200, if we're going to be in that like 150 to 220 price range, which is pretty common for this kind of an airplane, 150 would be cheap, bang good if you got lucky, you know, junk. This has got to be like best value airplane for the price. A little fast, but not too bad. Not too bad for like, it's a hard landing gear setup. There's no springs or shocks, and actually I think I need to tighten one of my wheels. But look at that bright light. This thing looks good at night too. I absolutely love this airplane. So I think I pretty well covered everything in the flight of this airplane. That's how confident I am in its ability, how happy I am with this airplane. I've had it for a long time now. This is still all the original. You know, I'm starting to lose a little bit of paint around the battery hatch here, but man, this thing flies good. My wheels are getting a little loose, but overall, it is just super awesome and always fun to fly. And I said that a beginner could learn to fly on this, and I stand by that. You really could if you wanted to. It's going to be one of the best bangs for your buck that you'll find out there. I mean, truly, especially if you're not risking buying overseas. You're buying this out of an American warehouse, an American dealer. Yeah, made in China, but we're just not there yet, right? So the product support and spare part availability is here in the States too. And for under 200 bucks, this is a rock and roll, awesome airplane. I'd like to ask all of our viewers too. Guys, we've had this on the channel for, you know, a good year or so, maybe longer now. Who has bought one? I know there are thousands of you watching, that, or maybe hundreds at least, that have bought one of these. So let other people know in the comments, yeah, it's an awesome airplane for the money. And I'm guessing back when, this is gonna make people feel bad, but it was a little cheaper probably back when we first showed it on the channel. But this price increase hasn't gone up too much, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's still worth, very much worth. If you compare this to everything else on the market, this is under 200 bucks. I think it's worth every penny. Now, if a beginner is gonna pick this up to fly it, you got to pick up AMA first, okay? You're finding a nice airplane, you're gonna learn to fly, and you'll make mistakes, we all do. I still make mistakes after hundreds, if not thousands, probably thousands of flights now. And I encourage you, the beginner and the intermediate and pro pilot, to purchase into something called AMA. It's the Academy of Model Aeronautics. It's a wonderful, wonderful program to help keep all of us safe. And by safe, I mean if you crash your airplane, they're basically an insurance program to step in and help cover the damages, not to your airplane, but to the thing or person, God forbid, that you hit. And we'll have a link in the description box below where you can learn a little bit more. But something that I actually spend a little bit of time myself in, you know, once or twice a week I leave a comment on posts, so maybe you'd like to hear a response from me, just Nate, not the RC Sailors, but Nate on Facebook in the AMA Facebook group. I'll link their Facebook group in the description box below too. It's a fairly small group, to be honest, for how big the program is. Handful of thousands of people.
But it's free for everybody.
Totally free, the Facebook group. So even if you're not an AMA member, maybe you can post a question there about something you have about model aviation or whatever and get an answer. It's a pretty well versed group of people and for the most part, very respectful. You know, it's Facebook, so. Beautiful airplane, flies great. I mean, truly everything that I would want in an airplane. It's awesome. You don't have to spend $500 to get it in the air. Look, I've got a couple old tactic radios that I tried to sell at a swap meet a couple weeks ago for 30 bucks and no one would buy them. And they're great radios that used to be over 100 bucks. So you can get your hands on a very good, awesome radio that I've used for like a decade now for 30 bucks secondhand and buy yourself a brand new airplane for $200 and a couple $15 batteries and you're flying. And you could even buy a $15 charger if you really, really wanted to and it'd get the job done. So this can get in the air for 250 bucks if you try. And even a new radio, like a Fly Sky or FR Sky, one of those, they're really cheap new. So if you have to have new, you can get that cheap too. Well, for a successful flight and just really enjoying the more of a budget side of things, I think the big guy upstairs. All credit goes to him for just all the happiness, good and bad in our lives, and give credit where credit is due, so thank you. Also, massive thanks to our Patreon supporters, because without you guys, we wouldn't be so bold as to get in front of the camera and say things how they really are. And just so happens, this one is really awesome. That's why it's been on the channel so much and we've held on to it for so long. So do yourself a favor and pick one up, and thank you to our Patreon supporters. Guys, we'll have another awesome RC plane video popping up right about now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.
Bye.